So is what we do to our children sometimes, we're just teaching them to, I mean, do we make a mistake? How do I want to say this without being offensive in any way to anyone? Do we make a mistake in trying to make them behave the way neurotypical children behave? Is that a mistake that parents made? Is that doing harm? Or how do I want to ask that? Is that what I'm at?
Can't.
My son can't.
Okay, can
So
I give an
Yes, please.
example using my daughter recently?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you and I like masking came up because masking just includes putting your emotions on. Like wearing them on your face, like resting bitch face, like when people say that, like RBF is we've taken off your mask, right? And so but it's also the reverse of that. It's also turning off your emotions because you're not safe to feel them. And my daughter has a lot of medical trauma. They she was recently in the hospital and they want to take her down and switch her G tube into a JG tube. And now it needs to be done in the operating room because they use the little camera that they guide all their tools with to guide the J into place. But there's no cutting, there's no surgery, there's no nothing. It's not a invasive typically, but it's scary. They, after talking to me, they decided they were not going to sedate her, even though I was like, you really need to sedate her because she's woke up from shunt revisions during COVID. And when we weren't allowed to be in there, and she opened her eyes, saw that I wasn't present, and started banging her head. And they came running up to the room, and I had to leap into the bed with her and cradle her while they then bandaged her head. And so it's a thing for her. But no one's hearing her. No one's hearing over and over again. They're just doing their stuff. And so they decided not to sedate her. I told them, I was like, as soon as if she starts crying, abort, bring her to me. Absolutely. Like I told them about my medical trauma. I was very adamant and all of that about it. And like they listened to me, I suppose. So then everyone was really invested in how well Kala did. Her nurse, the child life people, all of that. And so they came up. They were so proud because Kala laid absolutely still. She didn't move. She didn't look at her iPad. She didn't do anything. And the moment that they wheeled her into the room in the bed and she saw me, she leapt into my arms and she just wailed. Well, everyone told me how wonderful she did, how much progress she's made. And I started crying and I looked at my wife and I was like, how the hell did she learn to mask? She didn't tell them she was terrified because she didn't trust them to listen to her. She didn't do well. She masked. So yes, kids who don't understand, they still learn when it's safe to tell someone how they feel and when it's not. Because she did not enjoy that. She did not feel safe, nothing. Like she shook in my arms and just cried and cried and cried because adults held her down against her will and did something to her. And she doesn't know they were helping her. She just knows it was scary. And so that creates trauma. And then trauma tells her that they will hold her down less if she cries less.
Yep.
And so she got better and learned to mask. And so masking happens across all autism. I mean, across all humans, actually. But when we're talking about masking in a social situation, we're talking about like, my favorite is driving analogies because I think that like driving, when you're driving a car, you don't know what the other drivers are thinking. You can't rely on body language or anything like that unless you're getting up close enough to see the angry person giving you the bird. And so that's that disconnect, right? And so then there are some people driving a manual and some people driving an automatic. And I'm driving a manual. I have to remember how to do all of those things. And I was 23. Now, when I say I learned to smile, I smiled, I laughed, I feel joy, but I was 23 years old when I first learned to smile. in with intent. Because to me it felt like lying. If I'm smiling and I don't feel happy, I'm lying. But that was my first endeavor into masking in a way that made social situations go easier for me because I have a killer smile apparently. And so I just started going into places going, and life got better. And so I learned to really focus on one behavior at a time and build a mask. I'm actually working on a sculpture about all those stages of building the mask.